we have some people here that are interested, some parents and some future parents, some people that work in schools and in childcare programs with young babies. And they want to know a little bit about why it's important to protect the basic needs of the youngest children. And what we really want to keep clear in mind is that what happens to you in your earliest days and weeks and months and years of life, so the beginning of your life, is inside of you, and all of your experiences remain part of your constitution, part of your conditioning, and part of your inner world, your inner child. That is that infamous term, the inner child. Really, the inner child is our cellular memory, and it's subconscious, but it's inside of us. So it's really, really, really important that our childhoods are positive, and we can begin to offer the next generation a new adult, a new person who has confronted the conditioning and the automatic behaviors that are often just patterns. Okay, so that's the first thing. The first thing is really looking within and doing your own inner work. I'm going to be teaching an online course upcoming in 2022, so it's going to start in January. It's going to be available online just to follow, buy the course and follow it, or there's a second version of it where you can attend every 3 weeks. You can attend an in-person session. Limited spaces for that, so we can have a community of people that get to know each other through this 4 months of studying the materials and then meeting together and having in-depth discussions and conversations. And at the end, we're going to have a workshop environment where we really weave together all of our ideas and everything we've learned from all the materials we've looked at. Why is it really, really, really important to have a happy childhood? Because we construct our being out of how we feel. Children's brains, the first part of your brain that grows is your emotional brain, okay, your affective brain, how you feel. And everything you live turns into a feeling when you're a child, because you don't have a neocortex, a rational brain. You don't have that part of your brain yet that is, realizing you're living, is cognizant of what's happening. It's just happening to you. And this is Maria Montessori's famous idea of the absorbent mind. Okay, so how do we respect our planet Earth? How do we live on her in a sustainable way? How do we live well? How do we live happily? How do we have healthy people, healthy animals, populations, healthy interdependencies between the whole planet Earth? And Maria Montessori was really concerned about this because she talked about this thing that she called the cosmic task of humanity and the cosmic task of each person. And it was basically that each person found their role in the big picture of the biosphere, so of the planet and its functionings. And each human has gifts that they bring, and each human, if he or she is in a state of well-being, is in a position to give these gifts to the earth, to civilization, to humanity, to basically live in harmony on the earth with her and with others. With nature and then nature's design, your unfolding of your self-construction. You have to be able to do the things that you are called to do. So a child has these inner urges to develop, and these are programmed inside of her. It's innate human universal childhood developmental behaviors. And so those are the things that we want to allow for her to do. So if she has inner urges that insist that she do these things to develop, and we as the adults in her life and as a society, as a culture, if we do things that are contrary, then we're basically putting her in opposition, and that creates a really difficult situation for the child, because the child... And so this juxtaposition between the child on the go, exploring everything, touching everything, against our need to keep this child from touching everything and exploring everything and putting his hand in this plant and spreading dirt everywhere. And so the environment has to be one that for him or her is just full of yeses. Yes, go explore that. Yes, go. Otherwise it becomes a no environment. And in that environment, in this step, it's really simple. You just need to buy some time to be with your baby. You just need to be and create some very simple environments where you can be together and where you can hide. And really paying attention to what you're telling me, so that you don't have to cry to say, I want to be picked up. Because I understood that. I understood that before she got to the point of being angry, before she got to the point of being desperate. So she's communicating to me right now. She's asking me for something. Oh, yeah, we did that game before where I give you my fingers and you lift yourself up. Yeah, I put my hands out. Would you like me to pick you up? And this is a definite yes. So let's just shift you over like that. See if we that. Every organism, every human needs an environment that gives them what they need. So that adult, and we've subjected children to living in an adult world instead of gone down to meet them and understand what they need from us. All of that capacity to sense is integrated into feeling, emotional feeling, feeling of safety, feeling of love, feeling of happiness and joy, or feelings of fear, of terror, of not understanding anything because things keep changing. So that's what the second embryonic life means. It means the second phase of development. If you're interested in knowing more, I invite you to look into this course that I'm going to be offering. It's going to be about the very early period. So it's really about pregnancy, birth, and the newborn phase in its entirety. Of course, we will be looking in general at the youngest child and her development, but we're focusing on learning about. I'm going to share some of the things that I've learned. So what Maria Montessori wrote about the newborn, because she's got chapters and chapters on the newborn. What Adele Costagnochi, the student who was with Maria Montessori in 1909, one of the first, during the first course, one of the people that was in the very first training. And she spent 20 years studying the newborn. She studied the newborn with a group of collaborators, with pediatricians and obstetricians, doctors and nurses, educators, and in training a whole group of people. Over this course of 20 years, she probably trained 200 or 300 people in this work of Montessori applied to 0 to 3. And so we're going to look at what she learned. We're going to look at what Frédéric Le Boyer shared with the world with his Birth Without Violence, and infant massage, that's neurological deep stimulation in order to help boot up a nervous system so that it's hands-on, contact on, body felt sensations that just basically give the nervous system food in order to give it practice to be stimulated and really help the baby's body come fully into the world. So that's Le Boyer, and then there's Michel Odent, who is still giving his courses. He does 3-day courses, and I would recommend that anybody that can, while they are pregnant, that they attend one of his 3-day courses. He talks about undisturbed birth and what mammals need and humans, and how our physiological responses during labor, what kind of environment we need, what kind of protection we need. And then I'm going to explore a little bit of Barry Brazelton and offer you a chance to learn about what newborn behavioral observations are. And he had 17 or 18 different aspects, just like the APGAR at birth tracks 4 aspects of the baby. And lastly, we're going to look a little bit at neuroscience and how the brain develops, and how secure attachment develops. Now that we have all of the technology that can see what the brain is doing and what regions of the brain are activated. This man, Alan Shore, has done a lot of studies to see that regulation of the emotive system. So the child is an emotional being for the first 3 years of life, and that's the emotional intelligence. The brain is working on an emotional level. And that's why it's so important that we recognize emotions in children, and we validate emotions, and that we make space for emotions, and that we relate to them on an emotional level. But it's pure human who comes into our life, who's really the essence of love, who has no negativity in their body, who's so sensitive, and so they take in everything. And this we really can do this. We really can raise ourselves again, reparent ourselves, heal ourselves,